What's going on, hungry vegans? Today I want to give you a list of the best 16 fruits for you to focus on. Now I talk a lot about focusing on the fruit, focusing on the fruit, focusing on the fruit if you want to succeed as a raw vegan, and these 16 fruits are the ones that I have gotten the most calories from over the past 7 years. So over the past 7 years, these are the best 16 fruits. These are the ones that I have focused on the most. These are the ones I've gotten the most nutrition from. So let's get right into this. This list, by the way, is in no particular order. I'm going to go through from 1 down to 16, and the first fruit could be just as good as the 16th fruit. We don't know. Let's just get right into it. I'm also going to briefly explain why I think these fruits are in the top 16 list. Well, first things first, let's get right into it. Number 1, papaya. Papayas on this channel really need no introduction. If you've seen any of my past videos, you'll see that basically all I eat is papayas. Over the past month here in Hawaii, 90% of my calories have come from papaya. Papaya really do have everything we need to survive. They're juicy, they're flavorful, they've got tons of nutrients, they digest really, really easily, and I just love them, man. I just love them. They're really easy to get the calories in, and they're really cheap as well. Number 2, bananas. Bananas, bananas, bananas. Where would I be without bananas? Bananas have been with me since day one. I definitely don't think I could have succeeded as a raw vegan in Canada if it weren't for bananas. Bananas are definitely a staple food for me when I'm living in cold climates. They're also a staple for me here in Hawaii. When I'm not eating papayas, I'm probably eating bananas. Bananas are quite calorific. They're sweet, they're reliable, they're everywhere, they're universal. You just know they're gonna be good. They fill you up, they get the job done. Number 3. Avocado. Ooh, baby. Definitely one of my favorites. A lot of people will fear this fruit by saying it's got too much fat in it. But if you consider the fact that it's probably the only source of fat fruitarians are going to get when they're living in a cold climate, it makes sense to really appreciate this wonderful beauty. I used to cause some controversy in the past when people would ask me, "Oh, Ted, would you rather do high-fat raw or low-fat cooked?" And I would say definitely high-fat raw, because with high-fat raw I can just eat avocados. Whereas low-fat cooked, I gotta eat a bunch of foods that I don't want to be eating. And I'd much rather be raw and eat avocados than be cooked and eat some low-fat cooked stuff. It's just the enzymes in raw food, the enzymes in avocados, man, they help me feel great. They help me feel fantastic. But I definitely try and limit them to 1 to 2 per day. Any more than that, I'm just gonna feel a bit more sluggish, a bit more weighed down, a bit more stuffy, and not my light, usual, clean, energetic self. So avocados are great for keeping raw. They're great for feeling strong. But I want to limit them to about 1 to 2 per day, just because they're super high in fat. And the bloodstream, the human bloodstream, loves low-fat foods for sure. Number 4, grapes. Grapes contain powerful antioxidants known as polyphenols, which may slow or prevent many types of cancer, including blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter what grapes can do. It really matters how great they taste and how great they make you feel. When you feel great, great things are going to happen. Don't give food the credit for doing the healing. It's the body that heals itself. We just so happen to feel really good when we're eating certain foods. And when we feel good, good things happen. So when you eat grapes, you're going to do some serious cleansing because you're going to feel really great. And when you're cleansing and feeling great, you're going to heal up whatever you need to heal up. Grapes are awesome. Grapes are everywhere. Grapes are hydrating. Grapes are tasty. Grapes are great. Here's my friend Killian with his grapes. And here's my friend Ashley with her grapes. And here are all the grapes that Joe had when he did his Grape Fast. All organic grapes. Number 5, oranges. Oranges are super easy to live on. I myself have done just 3 days on oranges, but my friend Mike Arnstein has done 10 days on oranges while training for an ultra marathon. Meanwhile, our friend Ann Osborne has done over 80 days on just oranges and orange juice. Oranges, they contain everything the human body needs to survive. Nothing it doesn't. You can live a long, long time on just oranges alone. And the reason I put them on the list is because everyone can get them in their hometown. They're quite universal. Number 6, mamey sapote. Alright, so you might not be able to get a mamey sapote in your hometown, but if you're ever living in Panama, or if you're ever living in Hawaii, or if you can somehow order mamey sapotes, do it, because they're really, really, really good, man. They're like an avocado mixed with a papaya. It tastes like pie. Mamey sapote for the win. Super calorific, super delicious, quite cheap as well, and just so delicious. I love mamey sapote. Definitely a top 16 fruit if you're living in Panama or Hawaii or Florida, or wherever else grows Mammy Sapotes. Number 7, the one you've all been waiting for, Durian. Also pronounced Durian by those in the UK, this aphrodisiac of a fruit will make you go loco. People do all sorts of things for durian, and for me personally, durian is just one of those fruits that make me go out of my budget. They make me go past my curfew. They make me lower my standards. They make me do crazy stuff that I normally wouldn't do for anything else. You know, I wouldn't fly across the world to eat a mango or a tomato or an apple or a banana, but I will gladly, and I did, fly across the world so I could eat fresh durian. What other fruit has that power? What other fruit has that control over the human body, the human mind? No other fruit that we know of. Durian is the king of fruits, and it lets people experience what it really feels like to eat a human food. Number 8, plantains. Now you might be thinking, plantains? You gotta cook those things to eat them. Not when they're ripe. When you eat a plantain when it's ripe, it should be fully black. A fully black plantain is nothing like a yellow plantain. It's nothing like a cooked plantain. A fully black plantain is a fully black, juicy, sweet, caramel-like, creamy experience. It's like the best ever chocolate bar nature could ever create. Highly recommend buying a bunch of plantains, letting them ripen up, but do it in a place that grows plantains. You can get plantains in North America, but typically by the time they ripen up, they're going to be molding. I have not had great success ripening up plantains in North America. However, in places like Panama, plantains can be a great staple, keeping you feeling full and providing a nice touch of variety from the accustomed banana. Number 9, dates. Now, when most people think of dates, they think of dried dates, but dates do not need to be dried. These right here are medjool dates. In my opinion, they are the king of dates, but I don't like to eat them dried. I don't like to eat them when they're wrinkly. I like to eat them when they're fresh and plump and juicy. Like I said, most people think of dates and they think of dried dates. When I think of dates, I think of a juicy, high water content fruit because you can get them that way. You can get them that way right off the tree if you know the farmers. However, having said that, it's highly unlikely that you watching this, you listening to this, are going to be getting some fresh, sweet, juicy dates. It's much more likely you're going to be getting some dried dates. And whenever you're consuming dried dates, whenever you're consuming dried fruit, for that matter, you should definitely re-soak them, rehydrate them the way nature would intended you to have consumed them. Full of water, full of water, full of water. Once you've rehydrated them, once you've soaked them in water, throw them in the blender and blend them up. Some websites I recommend to go buy some dates would be thedatepeople.net and 7hotdates.com. Hope you enjoy your fresh, juicy, sweet dates. If you can get them to ship you some, enjoy. Number 10, apples. Growing up in Canada, I was around a lot of apples. I've been eating apples from an early age. To me, they are like, I just associate them with childhood. And when I eat them, I feel young. When I eat them, I feel great. They're hydrating. They're typically cheap, they're delicious, and they're very cleansing. They're quite crunchy, they've got a lot of insoluble fiber, so they tend to clean you out quite a bit. But I really do love them. Just when you eat them, make sure you chew them up quite a bit, because the skin can be a little tough. Number 11, mangoes. As a kid, I remember wanting just the sweetest, most unhealthy candy, and wishing that it was healthy. I wish that you could just eat the stuff, like Mars bars and Snicker bars, and just those sorts of things. I wish they could be healthy, and because they just tasted so good. They made me feel so good in the moment, but wasn't really aware of how I felt afterwards. But anyways, I just wish that I could eat unhealthy foods in a really healthy way, or somehow make them healthy, so I could just eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And now that wish has pretty much come true. I found these things. They're called mangoes, and this is how you eat them. Oh, it's so sweet. It's really orange. It doesn't look so orange on camera right now, but it's quite orange. And this is how we do it in Thailand. Ridiculous. Number 12, watermelon. The reason I've got to include watermelon in this best 16 list is because everybody loves it. Watermelon is something that you can live on as well. I once did 5 days on just watermelon at the exclusion of all other foods. And on the 5th day of eating watermelon, I ran a 5K and I won the race. I actually ran a PB that day. So watermelon is fantastic. It gives your body everything it needs, nothing it doesn't. Easy to fill up on, and very, very cheap when in season. Lucky number 13, we got a bit of an oddball here because it's two fruits. We got cantaloupe and honeydew. tied in at number 13. Cantaloupe and honeydew have to make this list because they are very filling. They're so delicious, and you can definitely live on them. Ann Osborne lived on just melons for 6 months. I personally have lived on honeydew for 3 days, and it felt like I was coming up on a drug for those 3 days. It felt absolutely amazing with no come down, pure bliss. Number 14, tomatoes. Tomatoes? Tomatoes. Alright, so I'll be the first to say it. I definitely have a love-hate relationship with tomatoes. I do find them somewhat addictive in that I just can't stop eating them once I start. They're just so good. Like if I go to the grocery store and I come home and I'm in the car with a crate of tomatoes beside me, I just can't stop eating them as I'm driving. And when I do stop eating them, it requires a lot of self-control. There's just something in them. It could be the nicotine. They do contain small amounts of nicotine. Nicotine has been shown to be addictive, so perhaps it is the nicotine in them. They are quite good, but I definitely don't believe that they are human food. I don't believe that we would find them in nature. They're definitely something very, very extremely hybridized, but they are delicious. If you are going to get tomatoes, you're best to get vine-ripened tomatoes that were grown outdoors. I don't suggest eating the tomato. I don't suggest eating so many indoor-grown tomatoes, but they can taste super sweet. That's for dang sure. Just be aware that tomatoes are in the nightshade family. So for some people they can cause some inflammation, for some people they can cause some breakouts, and for some people they just don't digest all that well. But fear not, because in this list there are 15 other fruits that I've shown you. I'm just saying tomatoes are in the top 16 because they're so good, they're quite filling, they're quite easy to get, and man, I just can't get enough tomatoes whenever I start eating them. They are delicious. Number 15, persimmons. We just got these amazing persimmons. They're all so incredibly ripe, and they're pretty much free. We paid like for this whole thing right here, probably like $3. These ones are all super ready to eat. They say, a lot of people say that you can eat the fuyus when they're hard, but honestly, when you eat them hard, it's just not the same as eating them when they're just dripping with juice. So let them get soft, let them get really ripe, and you'll love it. It tastes so much better, and it digests so much better when they're soft compared to when they're really hard. Coming in at sweet 16 to finish this list off, dragon fruit. 1 and 2. One for me, one for you. Bah! And the reason I love dragon fruits is, well, first off, just look at them. Okay? Just look at the things, man. If they are attractive, they're for you. Dragon fruit is very easy to obtain in its raw natural state, and it looks delicious in its raw natural state as well. Look at that, just rip right into that, bam. It's like obviously healthy for you, man, obviously healthy. Because, not only because it looks good and smells good, but because it tastes good. This thing tastes so good. And if something tastes really good in its raw natural form, and it can easily like rub right into your skin, like that stuff's going right into my skin, no problem. Like this stuff is like, man, super good. Easily absorb right into the skin. If it can get rubbed into your skin, it can go into your villi and your intestines, then it can really get absorbed really easily. So, super good. So, if it can taste really good, smell really good, feel really good, then, you know, it's gonna be really good for you. So that's it, guys. Hope you liked the list. Remember to thumbs up and subscribe. And I didn't want to include coconut in the list because I didn't really consider it a fruit, but otherwise I totally would have. And berries I just thought were too low in calories. Bye. See you next video.